फिरोजाबाद की हवा ऐसी थी कि शहर के अंदर हम कपड़े धो करके जब सुखाते थे बाहर, तो शाम को जो सफ़ेद कपड़े होते थे वो काले उठाते थे।
कोयले की भट्टी पहले हुआ करती थी, उससे फेफड़े खराब होते थे, सांस की बीमारी होती थी। कोयले की भट्टी में नुकसान ज़्यादा थी।
It was all on coal. If you enter this factory, there will be dust all around. It will be black smoke, and the workers will be. It's difficult to imagine and tell you, but it was really bad at that stage.
पहले तो ये लगता था कि पता नहीं इंडस्ट्री बंद हो जाएगी फॉरएवर यहाँ पे, जब ताज ट्रेपेजियम के चक्कर में। तो हम लोग देखने भी गए थे कि जो ताज ट्रेपेजियम जोन से बाहर है, मैंने वहाँ चलाएंगे कोयले से।
It seemed like the end of a 100-year-old legacy that Islam had inherited from his grandfather, his bangle factory. The Supreme Court order was clear. It had directed 292 industries in the vicinity of the Taj Mahal to either switch from coal to natural gas or relocate or else shut down. But then the question was, where was the technology for a gas-based furnace?
उसका तो chaos था। इंडिया भर में कोई भी पॉट फर्नेस गैस की थी नहीं, तो टेक्नोलॉजी की सबसे ज़्यादा परेशानी तो क्या होगा क्या?
Nobody in Firozabad had any clue.
जैसे पुराने वाले में है, उसमें कोयला जो है ये नीचे से है, तो ये सारी फर्नेस इसी टाइप से होगी, कोयला नीचे से आएगा और ये गैस ऊपर निकलती है हो जाता है। दिस इज द नॉर्मल पुराना तरीका। अभी नए वाले में हम ये सोच रहे हैं कि
The only hope rested with a group of technology experts from India and Switzerland who had recently started work in the Firozabad cluster. As part of a long-term partnership between TERI and the Swiss Agency for Development and Cooperation, or SDC, they were looking to improve energy efficiency in small and medium enterprises in India. But the Firozabad Bangle cluster presented a unique challenge.
First of all, the most difficult phase was for the entrepreneurs here, because they were used to working on coal kind of furnaces, which are on coal traditional furnaces. We have to provide a solution which has to be on gas. But then there were no gas-based solutions available anywhere in the world, let alone in India. These bangles are made only in India. Nobody else makes these bangles.
A big part of my work was to try to identify potential specialized consultants. So we entered in touch with the British Glass Association. There were so many components, so in all we had more than 5 different kind of people coming from UK. So this took us, I would say, at least 1 to 2 years to find the people and to really set it up.
The next challenge was to find a demonstration site. A series of discussions with the Glass Entrepreneurs Association narrowed upon Express Glass Works. Its owner Islam Khan seemed to be the only entrepreneur willing to put in time and resources in facilitating a new technology. Another important ally was BC Sharma, a local entrepreneur with a sound knowledge of the glass technology and a strong flair for innovation. As a local service provider, he had to supervise the fabrication of the demonstration plant. But in a sense, he also played a critical role in bridging the gap between the workers and the researchers.
दोनों ओर बड़ी रिजिडनेस थी। वर्कर अपनी जगह रिजिड रहता है, टेक्नोक्रेट्स के साथ भी लगभग वही बात होती है कि जो वो एक बार सोच लेते हैं, समझ लेते हैं उसको पूरा एनालिसिस कर लेते हैं, उसके बाद में वो ये चाहते हैं कि ये एज इट इज़ इम्प्लीमेंट हो, जो बड़ा मुश्किल होता था दोनों को अपनी बात को समझाने का।
The TERI SDC furnace works on the principle of recovering heat from the flue gases which go waste in a conventional furnace. The furnace is fired centrally by a single burner mounted on top of the furnace crown. Before the flue gas reaches the chimney, it passes through a heat recovery system called the recuperator. Using this device, the hot flue gases raise the temperature of the incoming combustion air drastically from 40 degrees to nearly 600 degrees centigrade. Thus, the amount of energy usually needed to attain this temperature is saved. Compared to the retrofitted gas furnaces that were locally available in the market, the recuperative furnace was 35% more energy efficient. However, achieving this benchmark required both patience and perseverance.
Too often in India, and not only in India, technologies are introduced too early. In a sense, they are not developed to the level they should, and then failures are occurring, and then often, let's say, potentially successful technology are just abandoned. People have to understand that it takes much more time. So an intervention in technology cannot be done in 1 year. It has to be 5-10 years to succeed.
As the first entrepreneur to adopt the new technology in 2001, Islam was happy with the results. Evident in the high efficiency of the furnace, a quick payback period of 1 year, and the disappearance of smoke and soot from his factory. In fact, the furnace continues to be fully operational even today, more than a decade down the line. But for TERI and SDC, the phase after the commissioning of the first furnace turned out to be tougher. The cluster still preferred the cheaper option of the retrofitted furnace.
See, when the furnace was commissioned, it was not a smooth sailing at all. There were problems, there were hiccups. It took a few months. But after this whole thing was smoothened out, even then people were not really coming forward. Major issue was actually people used to think that the cost is very high.
Most entrepreneurs wanted to wait and watch. However, in 2005 came a major push when the price of natural gas escalated sharply.
टेक्नोलॉजी प्रूव हो चुकी थी, वो समझ रहे थे, लेकिन शायद उनको उसमें इतना फ़ायदा नहीं दिख रहा था कि वो इसको लगाते। इसी बीच में गैस प्राइसेस थी, वो 6 रुपये से बढ़ के 10-12 रुपये हुई, तो उससे जो है सीधे सीधे उनकी प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी पे अटैक हुआ।
जैसे जैसे दाम बढ़े उसमें तो सेविंग और ज़्यादा हो रही थी। भाई एक बात सोचिए कि जब शुरू में लगाई थी तो 4 रुपये थी, तो 1 टन बची 4000 बचे। गैस के दाम हो गए 8 रुपये तो बचे 8000। गैस के दाम हो गए 15,000 तो 15,000 का डिफरेंस आया। इसीलिए सबकी सब मेजॉरिटी हो गई अब।
Finally, the trajectory looked something like this. A slow and static beginning from 2000 to 2004, followed by a handful of early adopters, and then a sporadic rise in which the recuperative furnace saturated the entire cluster by 2013. As a result, the Firozabad Bangle cluster saved nearly 98,000 tons of oil equivalent of energy and brought down over 250,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions.
I think what really made this intervention successful was the approach that we were taking while working with this cluster. It was a very long-term approach, a holistic approach, I would say. It was not only about developing the right kind of technology and demonstrating then this technology that it works, but then also disseminating it and really staying through the dissemination process really engaged with this cluster.
Today, TERI and STC's legacy in Firozabad goes beyond introducing a new technology. What will perhaps last longer is the cluster's awareness and appetite for energy saving in all its operations.
देखिए पहले तो हम लोग जानते नहीं थे एनर्जी सेविंग क्या होती है। जब से इसमें इन्होंने लगाया रिक्यूपरेटर सिस्टम, रीहीटिंग सिस्टम, उससे 30% की फर्नेस में गैस की बचत हुई है, जो देश की बचत है, हमारे लिए खुद की बचत है, कस्टमर की बचत है। इस सेविंग से काफ़ी बड़ा फर्क आया है।
I think this tells us a great story, that we need to work with a range of stakeholders, but particularly local manufacturers and local service providers, to see how this can be disseminated. And as we look to the larger picture, this needs to move to other clusters, and it also needs to move to other kinds of furnaces, reheating furnaces and so on. So within the context of this technology, but also within the context of the larger MSME program, whether it is of the Ministry of MSME or whether it is the BE's program, we are looking at very specific goals of technology development and of its deployment at a large scale by working with the local stakeholders. This, I think, provides a great opportunity to design the programs for replication as we have them for the 12th plan period.